This is a true story from a Japanese comedian's friend, Ueda. One night, he was drinking with about 6 friends. As the night went on, someone suggested, "Let's each tell a scary story we know." Everyone started sharing their ghost stories except for Ueda. He didn't really know any, and he didn't want to ruin the fun. So on the spot, he made one up. He said, "You know that parking lot nearby? Years ago, someone set themselves on fire there. That's why people say the place is haunted." To his surprise, everyone reacted with interest.
That's creepy.
Wait, I think I know that place.
The atmosphere got lively again, and the night went on. After the party ended, it was already quite late. Ueda decided to walk home alone. It was winter, and as he walked through the cold streets, he noticed a woman ahead of him, wearing a short skirt, completely underdressed for the season. He thought it was strange. Then, as he got closer, the woman turned to him and said,
"Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to?"
That place she mentioned, it was the same location as the parking lot from the story he had just made up. His heart skipped a beat, but he brushed it off, thinking it must just be a coincidence. He walked her there, and when they arrived, she smiled and said,
"Thank you so much."
She started walking away. Then, suddenly, she turned around, looked straight at him and said,
"Excuse me, that story you told earlier, you were talking about me, weren't you?"
"About 3 years ago, I moved from Osaka to Tokyo. I didn't have any work lined up, so I started looking for part-time jobs. One day, I went to a karaoke place nearby for an interview. Everything went smoothly. We talked about shifts, pay, all that stuff. When the interview ended and I was about to leave, the manager suddenly stopped me and said,
Wait a second. Are you okay with ghosts?
I was confused. "Why?" I asked. He said,
Well, people say a child's spirit haunts this karaoke box. It's not just 1 or 2 who've seen it. Quite a few employees have.
Then he asked,
So, if you're sensitive to those things, are you sure you'll be all right?
I told him, "Yeah, I'm fine. I don't really have any sixth sense or anything like that." And I went home without thinking too much about it. That night, around 3:30 a.m., my phone started ringing. When I looked, the call was from that same karaoke place. That's weird. Why would they call me about a job this late? I answered the phone, and from the other end, I heard a small child's voice say,
When are you coming next?
I froze, couldn't even move. My heart was pounding like crazy. After that, the phone rang several more times, but I couldn't bring myself to answer again. This is a story about a Japanese entertainer, someone who once told me what happened to one of his classmates. Back in middle school, he had a classmate who lived with his girlfriend for nearly 3 years. Then one day, she was killed in a car accident. The way he found out was truly horrifying. His girlfriend had been working late that day, and when he got home, he noticed there was one message on the answering machine. He pressed play and heard her voice say,
"I'm heading home now, so please wait for me tonight, okay?"
The sound of the crash itself had been recorded. After that, the man completely broke down. He stopped going outside, stopped working, and barely spoke to anyone. A friend would sometimes call or drop by to check on him, but he would just say,
"I'm fine. I'll start working again soon,"
and close the door. He wasn't eating properly. His mother and friends would leave meals at his door because they feared he might starve to death. For nearly a year, no one saw him outside. He kept living in the same apartment, the one he had shared with his girlfriend. Eventually, his mother and friends decided they couldn't leave him like that anymore. They told him,
"You can't keep living in that same place. She wouldn't want you to suffer like this. You need to move on for both your sakes."
Reluctantly, he agreed. The day of the move, about 5 or 6 friends came to help. It was a small apartment, just one room and a little side space. As they packed, they kept finding old photos, souvenirs, and things the couple had bought on trips together. Every time, he would stop and fall silent. They tried to keep him distracted, tried to keep the mood light, but it was painful for everyone. What should have taken 3 hours ended up taking the whole day. Finally, late at night, everything was packed into boxes. They were just about to leave when the phone suddenly rang, and from the speaker came that same voice.
"I'm heading home now, so please wait for me tonight, okay?"
The same message from the night she died. Everyone froze. The entire room fell silent for nearly 10 minutes. No one could move or speak. Eventually, someone said, "I'm gonna step out for a smoke." And one by one, they all left the room, leaving him alone inside. Outside, one of the friends turned to the guy who had been standing closest to the phone.
"Idiot, you touched it, didn't you? You knew that would happen. Why'd you mess with it?"
But the guy shook his head and said, "I didn't touch it. The power's not even plugged in. That phone's been disconnected for months."
This is a story once told by a Japanese entertainer. He said that many fans of his radio show used to record his program on cassette tapes. Sometimes, when they were away on school trips or vacations, they'd ask a friend to record the show for them. One day, he received a letter from a listener in the countryside. She wrote about something that happened when she went on a school trip. She didn't want to miss her favorite show, so she set up her cassette deck to record it automatically while she was gone. Then she locked her apartment and left. When she got back, she was so excited to listen to the tape. But when she pressed play, all she heard was static. No music, no voice, just noise. She thought,
"That's strange. I know I set the timer right."
so she checked the settings and realized something. The switch wasn't set to radio. It was set to external input. So the timer had worked perfectly, but nothing had been recorded. She sighed.
Oh no, I messed it up again.
She felt disappointed, thinking she had missed one of her favorite segments. But then she noticed something. There was sound on the tape. It wasn't just static. There were faint voices, even though she lived completely alone. When she turned up the volume, she heard it clearly. Two girls talking.
It's such a mess in here, isn't it?
Why does she keep it this dirty?
The conversation went on and on, two unfamiliar female voices, complaining about how dirty the room was. Panicking, she looked around her apartment. Nothing seemed unusual, except for one thing. On top of her dresser, covered in a thick layer of dust, was the Japanese doll her grandmother had given her. And in that moment, she realized there was only one thing it could have been.
This is a story told by someone I know. It happened about 10 years ago. He was living in a very old wooden apartment building, the kind that was probably built back in the late 1960s. He'd been there for years. One night, in the middle of the night, he suddenly heard a phone ringing. But it wasn't his phone. It was coming from the apartment next door. He waited, thinking his neighbor would pick up. But the ringing went on and on. Finally, it stopped. The next night, it happened again. Same ringtone, same time. And again, the neighbor didn't answer. He got annoyed. Come on. Some of us are trying to sleep here. Then, on the third night, the phone rang again 0.3 nights in a row. 3 times, no one picked up. Now he was sure something was off. He was just about to go next door and complain when suddenly someone started pounding on his front door. Startled, he opened it, and there stood his neighbor, furious.
Hey, your phone is driving me crazy.
He froze for a second. He was about to say,
No, it's your phone that's ringing.
but the neighbor's anger was so intense that he couldn't get the words out. The neighbor shouted,
Pick up the damn phone. It's ringing right now.
He said,
No, that's coming from your room. Listen, it's on your side of the wall.
The neighbor shook his head.
No, man. I can hear it too. It's coming from your side.
They both went quiet. The ringtone echoed softly through the wall, muffled, as if buried somewhere inside it. They pressed their ears against the wall. The sound was definitely coming from between the 2 rooms. So they grabbed a hammer and carefully broke open a section of the old wall. Inside, wedged between the wooden beams, was a single cell phone, a dusty, outdated model that neither of them had ever seen before. The phone was ringing, right there, stuck between the walls of a building that had been standing since the 1960s. He reached for it, and just as his hand touched it, the ringing stopped. He pulled it out. The back cover was loose. Inside, no battery. The phone was completely dead. He had lived there since before cell phones even existed. No one knew how or when that phone was placed there, and no one could explain why it had been ringing.
If you are interested in these Japanese urban legends, please subscribe to our channel and give us a high rating. See you again in the next horror.